Hey everyone, I'm here, decided to show you a tour around my bookcase, show you all the collection of my book collection. This right here, most of these books belong to my uncle, and I acquired them after he passed away. And so I'm going to show you now. Let's see what we got here. Let me just start down here. See if I can get that clearly. We have here Sun Tzu's The Art of War, Robert Ferguson's The Vikings, Iran by Michael Axworthy, World History of Warfare, Scottish Highlanders, Mary Queen of Scots, that's better, Edward IV, Henry V, Richard III, Climax of Rome, Plato's Dialogues, Guns Over the Champlain Valley, Roman Britain, The Right Line of Cerdic, which is a historical novel about Alfred the Great. Although, on a related note, I do have the first book of Bernard Cornwell's Last Kingdom series. Trail of Tears: Rise and Fall of the Cherokee Nation by John Illy. Empire of Fortune by Crowns, Colonies, and Tribes in the 7 Years' War in America, Francis Jennings. 1948 by Benny Morris about the Arab-Israeli War. Treaty of Canandaigua, Jessica Shane. There's a lot of Iroquois books here. Iroquois Diplomacy on the American Frontier. Forgotten Allies, another one about the Oneida, the Habsburgs. The Americanization of Benjamin Franklin, The Political Irresponsibility of Counterinsurgency, and the Second World War by Martin Gilbert. Up on this shelf, we have here John Adams, David McCulloch, 1776, another David McCulloch, King Arthur by Holmes, Napoleon's Military. Let me do that. Whoa. The Last Pagan about Roman Emperor, which one? Julian the Apostate. Rousseau's Dog, The War on Terror and the Laws of War. Afghanistan, From the Cold War through the War on Terror by Rubin. Saratoga by Richard M. Ketchum. Post-War by Tony Judith. History of Europe since 1945. The End of the House of Lancaster by L.L. Story. King Philip's War. Tom Holland's Rubicon. The Fall of 1989. The Fall of the Soviet Empire. Victor Sebastien. The Divided Ground, another book about the Iroquois by Alan Taylor. 1968, The Year That Rocked the World by Mark Kurlansky. The First World War by Martin Gilbert. Caesar by Colin McCulloch. At the End of Military Intervention. Mental Health and the War on Terror. America, Narrative History by Tana Shield. 13 Days in September about the Camp David talks, as you can see there. Carter, Sadat, Begin. And then on the top shelf, sorry about the lawnmower in the background. The Punishment of Virtue, Inside Afghanistan After the Taliban. The Hidden War by Borovic. This one is about, what's this one about? A Russian journalist's account of the Soviet war in Afghanistan. A History of Roman Britain. The Age of Attila. The White Queen. Sorry, I think it's a War of the Roses book. The Celts, The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. Monticello guidebook that I got when I was there. The Hidden History of Burma. Mindhunter. This is basically because I'm also a big fan of this show. And we also have here Orwell's Road to Wigan Pier. Samuel Huntington's The Clash of Civilizations and the Remaking of World Order. The Routes Not Taken, for a trip through New York City's unbuilt subway system. Writes Old English. The Punic Wars by Adrian Goldsworthy. Fatal Purity, Robespierre. Battle, A Brief History of Combat and Culture. The Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. Actually, while I'm here, So pardon me, I just have to show you something, right? Okay. So I'm looking through the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, and let me see here. Waiting for the right page. Ah, yeah. So 902, the year of the Battle of the Holm. It says for 902, this year was the great fight at the Holm between the men of Kent and the Danes. This year Ealhswith died. But then it says over here for 905. Let me see. This year Ethelwald enticed the army in East Anglia to rebellion, so that they overran all the land of Mercia until they came to Crickdale, where they forded the Thames, and having seized either in Brandon or thereabout all that they could lay their hands upon, and they went homeward again. King Edward went after, as soon as he could gather his army, and overran all their land, desirous of all their land between the foss and the Ouse quite to the fens northward. Then being desirous of returning thence, he issued an order to the whole army that they should all go out at once, but the Kentish men remained behind, contrary to his order, though he had sent 7 messengers to them, whereupon the army surrounded them, and there they fought. There fell Ealdorman Ceolwulf, and Sigulm, Edwald the king's thane, Abbot Kenwulf, Sigerbreed the son of Ceolwulf, Ethel the son of Hakon, and many also with them, though I have named the most considerable. On the Danish side were slain Yorick and their king, and Prince Ethelwald, who had enticed them into war. Brustege, the son of Prince Brithelth, Governor Yesop, Governor Ostikon, very much also with them, that we now cannot name, and there were on either hand much slaughter raid, but of the Danes there were more slain, though they remained masters of the field. Ealhswith died the same year, and a comet appeared on the 13th day before the Cowards of November. So it's clearly the Battle of Ethelwald too, but in 905. Maybe someone can cross-reference this with another version. This is the Pantheanos Classics version. And then, of course, over here we have a History of Wales by John Davis, or is it in Bad Welsh? Hanes Cymraeg. That is one shelf. Let me take you next to the other one. Okay, so now we're on the bottom of my other shelf, and you're going to see a lot more of like my childhood books that I've yet to get rid of. You'll see over there, tucked away in the corner, a nice illustrated version of the Constitution of the United States of America. We also have a series of Star Trek books, because I'm a big Trekkie. Star Trek Vault, visual, and then of course we have the elements of the periodic table, Star Trek in history, the crowded universe, great views in science, atlas, countries that don't exist, After New Jersey, Margaret Mitchell's Gone with the Wind. I know this is a very problematic book, but it's still a literary classic. And also on this shelf, you're going to see a lot of bookmarks, because there's a lot of books I started reading and just never finished. And it's like this one, A Kingdom of Their Own, which is about Hamid Karzai. In fact, let me just get the, there we go. We have also here the 3 Lord of the Rings. So we have the first one, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, The Return of the King, Sea Power by Admiral James Stavridis, Dictators Without Borders, which is about Central Asia. Then we have here a bunch of books, a bunch of old dinosaur books. And I used to be a big fan of Big Cat Diary when I was a kid. So we have here Great Migrations, books about mythical monsters. Here we have this here, the complete Civil War of the New York Times. So we have here, not like the actual pictures, but like a lot of the things that was said. I don't know why I'm doing it backwards, but I am. It's like here, this here is, like here we show a map here of the 7 Days campaign, 7 Days battles. This here is a book that I got when I toured Sweden. I visited the Olympic Stadium where the 1912 Summer Olympic Games were held. Book on Britain, and here we have, these are, here we have here the Magna Carta and the Spanish Inquisition. And then we go up here, second shelf. This Brave New, we have here, see a bunch of other ones like This Brave New World by This Brave New World, which is about India, China, and the U.S. on Manuel. You can't see. Sorry. Learn to Eat Soup with a Knife by John A. Nagel, which is one of the best counterinsurgency books. 1984, War and Peace, The Complete Shakespeare. There's no real pattern to my book collection. I just do it. Nestled in the middle here, you have Thomas Paine's Common Sense, Guide to North America and the American Colonies. That we have here, Webster's Dictionary. I had a copy of the Odyssey, it just went away. Little Dorrit, Dracula, you can see there, Frankenstein, you can see bookmarks. Asia's Cauldron, which is about, the South China Sea, the end of a stable Pacific. I'm waiting for a copy of King Leopold's Ghost. Edgar Allan Poe, Wars of the Roses, Jules Verne, Wealth of Nations, Anne Frank, Moby Dick. And then we go up here. You see a bunch of New York and New York stuff and what the. Okay. So, well, if I could just New York and bunch of New York railway stuff and the Race Underground, but how Boston built the old one, Secrets of New York, a bunch of old picture books. The Grand Design by Stephen Hawking, another rail book, Champlain. Manhunt about the hunt for John Wilkes Booth. Managing Jamesville, an American story about the shutting down of shutting down of a plant in Jamesville, Wisconsin. During the Great Recession. And what is it doing over there? Managing Cultural Differences, Treasure Island, The Assassination Complex, The Pagoda. I should remember I got that book. The Color of Success, Festival of Violence. Actually, these two, Asian Americans and the Origin of the Model Minority. And then A Festival of Violence, A History of Analysis of Southern Lynchings. Beyond Black, A Reader on Contemporary Race Relations. The Principia, Killing a King, about the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin. Uncle Tom's Cabin, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, Jewish Pirates of the Caribbean, Jewish Readings and Folklore, an Analysis of the Jewish World. And then over this shelf, okay, I don't know why it's like that. Here we have Einstein, book on Einstein, the Scarlet Letter, The Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Don Quixote, Pinocchio, Hugo Cabret, books, Charles Dickens, and then the complete 5-volume work with Oliver Twist, David Copperfield, Tale of Two Cities, Christmas Carol, and what's the fifth one? Sorry, let me just check what the fifth one is. Great Expectations. And then we have, if I could just, Sinatra's, a book on Frank Sinatra, and then that's my yearbook, but I'm removing it so that you don't see where I went to high school. And then this right here is one of my grandfather's old books, Jane Eyre, The Hobbit, Tarzan, Beowulf, Farewell to Arms, The Call of the White Fang. And then this is a complete encyclopedia on the Native Americans of the U.S. and Canada, and then the rest is just baby pictures. And then we have up on the top shelf here, Thucydides' History of the Peloponnesian War, Killer Angels. This is almost like a novel version of the Battle of Gettysburg, Crucible of War, which is about the French and Indian War and Pontiac's Rebellion, the 7 Years' War and Pontiac's Rebellion. North American theater of the 7 Years' War and the subsequent Pontiac Rebellion. The First Total War about Napoleonic Wars. Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. Prisoner's Geography by Tim Marshall. We have Plato's The Republic. Singapore by John Curtis Perry. Simon Perez's No Room for Small Dreams, which was published after he died. Scotland by Magnus Magnusson, Hugh Kennedy's Caliphate. The most recent book I've read, Ghost Wars. This one I found to be fascinating, about the secret history of the CIA, Afghanistan, and bin Laden, from the Soviet invasion to September 10th, 2001. And then the book I'm currently reading right now, Saudi Arabia and Iran, Power and Rivalry in the Middle East by Simon Mabin. And then these two classic. I've read the one on the right. I haven't read yet the one on the left. But I think you should read them hand in hand, The Ideological Origins of the American. Read this one first, because this one was written by one of his students as a reaction to this book. So read this one first and then read this one. And then Tim Marshall's A Flag Worth Dying For, Dying to Win, The Strategic Logic of Suicide Terrorism, Howard Zinn's People's History of the United States, The Borders of Dominican by Garcia Pena, which is about, I think it's about Haitian-Dominican rivalries. Bernie Sanders' Our Revolution, 1777 by Dean Snow. Near Abroad by Gerald Toll, Putin, the West, and the Contest over Ukraine and the Caucasus. And then tucked away here we have Galileo Galilei's Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems. So then there's a third collection. Let me just show you. Hold on. So this is here. This is like right underneath my bedside table. And I should also say the reason why I'm doing this is because I wanted to show you, because recently I've been seeing like asking for like what books should I get, creating like a list of books I'd like to get at some point in my life. And you may have seen some of these books mentioned in like the sources from my videos. So I'll show you, here's the DK World History Atlas. You have Henry George's Progress in Poverty, a bunch of Hebrew language books.